this card, let me pull it up a little bit so you can see some of the detail. I first made the background or the front of the card textured, and I did that using the hammered metal 3D embossing folder. So we're going to do that, and originally I cut my cardstock to be 11 by 4 1/4, and I can see now that I actually haven't even scored it, so I probably should score it before I put it through anything. So I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. All right. And so there's my card base, and this is Daffodil Delight. Yep, Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to get my, here crash, that was me getting my Stampin' Cut and Emboss out. So I'm going to be embossing, so I need this base plate, and I need this gray plate for the 3D embossing. So, because this is a card already, I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to, here's the fold, and I want to put that right up to the edge here and close it. And remember, you always want to put the folded side of your embossing folder through first. Hi, Deb. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite. I think it's the turtle, and then I think it's the giraffe, and then I think it's the sloth. I don't think I can pick between any of them. So now you can see that we have this nice little front on here, and when you are texturizing, especially something that texturizes this much, the card will become a little bit shorter in the front here. So you could have scored it a little bit longer to begin with, or you can just kind of refold it. Well, I can if I get my bone folder out here. Okay. So there we've got a nice card base going. So then we have a couple other layers that we need to bring in. We need a layer of soft suede, and that's going to go right here. And this measures 4 5/8 by 3 1/4. And then I'm going to take a piece that's a little bit smaller. It's larger to begin with, but what I'm going to be doing is, actually, which one I forget which one I'm going to do. One's the inside and one's the outside. I think that's the inside. I'm going to cut this with the stitched rectangles dies. So again, you can create very simple cards, but you can make them look a little bit more complex just by adding a little bit of interest to them. And so I'm going to do that with, let's see which rectangle I used. I think I might have used this one. Let's see. Yeah, I think I used that one. I did it before I went away for a couple days, so I don't really remember much of anything I'm doing these days. So I'm going to just cut this with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And again, move my stuff out of the way. And I could have had this done in advance, but I wanted you to be able to see how quick and easy this card goes together. And remember, I'm talking, so it's actually going to be much quicker to put together than I'm doing it right now. So I need my other plates. So when I'm using a die, I need my base, my number 1. I need my number 2. And then I need a 3. And if you plan this right, you can actually, now I didn't, you can actually make it so that this can result as in a frame. And I can see right now that there's less of a border on these two sides than on these two, so I didn't actually cut it right to do that. But you know what? That's the magic of doing it live right now. I can. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull in my paper trimmer and see what the dimensions are of this. So it looks to be about 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. All right, so let's go 3 3/4 by 5. I think that'll do it. Kind of trying to do the math in my head real quickly, and even though I used to be a math teacher, it doesn't necessarily come as easy online. Yeah, it's going to be close enough for a frame, I think. I still could cut another probably 1/4 inch off, probably. But we're going to deal with it like this. So if I've centered that on there, I can just run it through. And you'll find with the rectangular ones, I should have put it on an angle a little bit, and then I wouldn't have had so much trouble getting it through. See how this is very straight going through. If I'd put it on an angle, it would have gone through my machine a little bit easier. I sometimes forget to do that. But see how when you take this off, these stitched rectangles not only give stitching to the inside that you cut out, I think you can see that, but there's stitching around here, so I've now created a frame, so I can keep that and use that on some other project. So let me get this out of the way, and then we can get down to business of really doing the work of this card, and that's getting the stamp set out. So I'm going to use my little giraffe, and let's see, I need a block, a bigger block. So we'll put him right on that block. Oh yeah, I think if I tap too hard and too fast, it shakes the camera for you. Sorry. So let's just put him over. I'm going to put him over here on the right a little bit. Okay, so there he is. So cute. And I'm going to actually take the time right now to get the sentiment out that this is not good. See, his neck's in a knot. I think that's so cute. So I'm going to get the "this is not good" stamp. And I'm going to get the soft suede ink out because that matches the soft suede background. And I thought it was a great color for a giraffe. Giraffes are yellow and brown. And hopefully I get this straight because I'm looking at it from an angle. Well, straight enough for now. Now you can color him in with lots of mediums. You can use your ink pads and blender pens. You could use watercolor pencils. You could use the Stampin' Write markers. Yes, Nancy, you do see a sloth. The sloth is great. But we're going to use the Stampin' Blends because I absolutely love coloring with my blends. They make me such an artist, or at least more so than I am without them. So I'm going to actually use the Daffodil Delight. Remember, they come in pairs, but I actually didn't get this color in pairs. I got them singularly, and you can actually tell that I got them at different times because the Stampin' Blends image is different on them. And you know what else that means? This one is really old and almost dead. So we're not going to use him. We're going to use just the yellow one, the darker yellow one. And I'm going to just start coloring him in. So you can remember you don't need, the light is nice because it does give some depth, but you can, if you run into a pinch like I am right now, you can use the color lifter to remove some of the color. and make some areas darker than others. So the giraffe has lots of spots, so it takes a little bit of time to color, but you can see it's not bad. It goes together pretty quickly. I think this would be a great card, not for just if somebody were sick, but you know, somebody got in a jam for some other reason. You know, they maybe ended up getting a speeding ticket, or they got in trouble doing something else. Maybe they didn't file their taxes in time, and so, you know, you can say to them, this is not good. You can have a little fun with it. Now to color in him, the squares are kind of little, so I'm going to use the harder end, and I'm going to follow the shading marks. So I'm going to put the dark piece there, and sometimes I'll just outline. I'm going to outline these more square ones here, just with the dark. I'm going to give some depth to this by adding in the lighter soft suede in a minute. And his legs are going to be fairly dark anyways because he's in the shadows there. All right, and we might as well put some color to his hooves. I'm going to come in here now with the light one. And again, the areas are pretty small, so I'm going to use the more pointy end here. And I'm just going to blend it a little bit. If I go over the darker parts, it just kind of all falls together and blends nicely. So you don't really see the dark line and the light line. They just kind of blend together a little bit. But you see a little bit darker outline, which is what you're going for. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but the centers are a little bit lighter, so they pop a little bit more. And again, you can come in with your color lifter if there's any spots on, say, you know, maybe the top of his face that might be hitting the light. You can do that. If you would like his hooves a little lighter, you can put it on there. I'm actually going to give him a little bit of ground cover. And I don't want the ground cover to be the same color as his hooves. So I'm going to come in with the color lifter and just lighten a lot of it. Again, it'll dry a little bit lighter anyway. But there he is. Oh, you know what? His little nubby things, I don't know. They're not antennas, right? I don't know. All right, Joyce, I have to read your comments. Since you weren't using the outside, you didn't really have to cut more off, except now you can use the, yes, right. I was just showing that you could, what you could do with it. In my original one, I did not actually use the outside. I just cut off a piece of scrap. So he's all colored. And so now we just have to mount him. And again, let's use some dimensionals, because dimensionals just make him stand out literally a little bit more. So I'm going to put on 6 here and pull off my little pieces. And there we go. We just have to add them onto the front here. And for this front part, I'm probably just going to use the green glue, the Tombow Multi, because it sticks really well. There's, you know, there's a lot of texture in the back here, so I want to make sure it does stick pretty well. And so there's the front of my card, pretty quick and easy. I could have actually sponged over or used a blender brush over the top of this card and added even a little bit more depth to the hammered metal look. Now we can't leave it like this on the inside. We have to dress up the inside a little bit. And I'm gonna do that as soon as I find that piece of paper that I had to do just that. Y'all saw me with it at the beginning of the class. So let's see. Well, when that doesn't work, what do? You say, let's open the drawer and get out a new piece. And I'm going to cut my piece to be 1/4 of an inch. Less in each dimension than the card base. So 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And we can't just leave the inside naked. That just wouldn't be nice. Plus it means you have to write that much more. So we don't really want to do that, right? So what I would probably do for the inside, I don't really want to color him again. I mean, I could, but I don't really want to color him again. So I'm going to go ahead and get that soft suede ink back out. And I'm going to clean my stamp first. Oh, if you guys only could see my desk right now, you would know that cleaning my stamp is probably as hard as anything right now. All right, so I'm gonna get my, I don't even know where my chamois is right now. It's buried under some cards and mail that has to go out. All right, so now we're just going to take that soft suede and stamp him on the left this time. There we go. It's just really cute. You don't always have to color. And we'll just take our green glue again. And so if you notice, now there's much less space that I have to think of something to write. And sometimes there's just not a whole lot of words. You just want to let somebody know that you're thinking of them and that you care. So there's the card.